Are you looking for the best AM5 motherboard? In this video we will look at some of the best AM5 motherboard. Before we get started with our video, we have included links in the description, so make sure you check those out to see which one is in your budget range. Number 5. We've got the Gigabyte A620I AX. This little gem is perfect for budget-conscious builders who still want solid performance. Priced at just $120, it's an absolute steal for what it offers. Despite its small size, the A620I AX packs a punch with 555 amp power stages for the VRMs. That's more than enough to handle processors like the Ryzen 7 7800X3D. While it doesn't support PCIe 5.0, let's be honest, most people don't need it right now anyway. There are a couple of trade-offs. You get just one M.2 slot and 2 SATA ports, but for a compact build, that's often all you need. The USB options are decent, with 6 USB 3.2 ports and 5 USB 2.0 ports, so you'll have enough for your peripherals. Plus, it's equipped with Wi-Fi 6 and 2.5 gigabits per second LAN, so your connectivity is top-notch. Now, about overclocking. While CPU overclocking isn't supported on the A620 chipset, here's the good news: memory overclocking is still available. For most users, that's where the real performance gains are anyway. The I/O panel is pretty basic, with just 4 USB 3.2 ports and 2 USB 2.0 ports. Also, there's no pre-installed I/O shield, but at this price, it's hard to complain. Overall, the Gigabyte A620I AX is a fantastic choice for a budget build that doesn't compromise too much on features. Number 4. The Gigabyte B650I AX. Think of the Gigabyte B650I AX as the cooler, older sibling of the A620I AX. It features the B650 chipset, which brings CPU overclocking back into the picture. Priced around $40 more than the A620I AX, you might wonder, is it worth the extra cash? Well, that depends on how much you enjoy tweaking your CPU. The VRM setup is identical to the A620I AX, with 555 amp power stages for the VRMs. So, while you can overclock your CPU, don't expect to push it to extreme limits. Here's the twist: apart from the chipset, the B650I AX is almost a copy of the A620I AX. It has the same single M.2 slot, 2 SATA ports, and the same USB configuration. It's like they upgraded the chipset, added overclocking capabilities, and called it a day. So, is it worth the upgrade? If you're an overclocking enthusiast who loves fine-tuning every last bit of performance, then this board might make sense. However, for most people, it's probably better to either save money with the A620I AX or invest a bit more and go for a higher-tier board. Number 3. Gigabyte B650I Aorus Ultra. The Gigabyte B650I Aorus Ultra is where things get serious. With a $240 price tag, this board is a powerhouse designed to handle demanding tasks and overclocking with ease. Power and performance. This beast comes with 8x 105 amp power stages for the V-Core, built on a 12-layer PCB. In simpler terms, it's engineered to handle overclocking without breaking a sweat. If you want to push your Ryzen CPU to its limits, this board is ready for the challenge. PCIe and storage. While the main PCIe slot is still PCIe 4.0, the primary M.2 slot supports PCIe 5.0, offering blazing fast speeds for future-proof storage. In addition, it features 2 more PCIe 4.0 M.2 slots, giving you 3 M.2 slots on a mini IDX board, a rarity for compact builds. USB and connectivity. You get 8 USB 3.2 ports and 6 USB 2.0 ports, which is plenty for most setups. While there's no USB 4, the inclusion of Wi-Fi 6E and 2.5 gigabits per second LAN ensures fast and reliable connectivity. I/O panel. The rear I/O panel offers 4 USB 3.2 Type A ports, 1 USB Type-C port, 2 USB 2.0 ports. Though the I/O panel might appear basic, it's a thoughtful design given the constraints of a mini ITX board. Is it worth it? Absolutely. For enthusiasts and gamers looking for a compact board that doesn't compromise on features or performance, the Gigabyte B650I Aorus Ultra is a fantastic choice. With its robust power delivery and versatile storage options, this board packs a punch in a small package. Number 2. We've got a board that's going to make you question everything you thought you knew about motherboards, the Asus ROG Strix X670i AX gaming Wi-Fi. Now fair warning, this board isn't for the faint-hearted or those watching their wallets closely. At $410, it's by far the most expensive board on our list, but before you start clutching your pearls, let's talk about what you're getting for that price. First off, this is the only X670 Mini ITX motherboard we know of. That's right, Asus saw the size limitations of Mini ITX and said, hold my beer. The result, a board that packs more features than you'd think possible in this form factor. Let's start with the VRM. We're talking a massive 110 amp power stage core VRM. That's enough to power a small country, or in this case, enough to push your CPU to its absolute limits. And don't worry about heat, the VRM heatsink includes 2 small fans, super quiet. Being an X670 board, you're getting the full PCI Express 5.0 treatment, the main X16 slot PCI Express 5.0, the primary M.2 slot also PCI 5.0, there's an additional PCI 4.0 M.2 slot too, because Asus knows you can never have too much fast storage. Now let's talk about USB. This board is serving up 2 USB 4 ports, 10 USB 3.2 ports, and 7 USB 2.0 ports. That's more USB than you can shake a stick at. The I/O panel alone has 10 USB ports, including those 2 juicy USB 4 ports. But Asus didn't stop there. They looked at the limited space on the board and thought, you know what, let's move the audio offboard. The result is the ROG Strix Hive, an external audio solution that's so cool, it deserves its own YouTube video. Of course, you're also getting the standard Wi-Fi 6E and 2.5-bit LAN, because at this price point, anything less would be insulting. The Asus ROG Strix X670i AX gaming Wi-Fi is more than a motherboard, it's a statement. It's Asus flexing their engineering muscles and showing the world what's possible in the Mini ITX form factor. Is it overkill for most users? Probably. Is it awesome? Absolutely. And now, the number 1 spot on our list goes to the MSI MPG B650i Edge Wi-Fi. Now I know what you're thinking. Wait, what? How can this be number 1 when we just talked about that insane Asus board? Well, hear me out. Sometimes less is more, and MSI has struck gold with this perfect balance of features and price. Priced at $290, the MPG B650i Edge Wi-Fi sits comfortably in the middle of our price range. It's not cheap, but it's not going to require you to sell a kidney either, and for that price, you're getting a board that ticks all the right boxes. Let's start with the VRM. The core is supported by 880 amp power stages. Is it as beastly as the Asus? No. Is it more than enough to handle even the most power-hungry AM5 CPUs? Absolutely. This VRM setup will let you push your CPU to its limits without breaking a sweat. Now, PCI Express 5.0 support is missing here, which might seem like a downside, but let's be real, how many of us are actually using PCI Express 5.0 devices right now? By the time PCIe 5.0 becomes mainstream, you might be ready for an upgrade anyway. Remember, AMD has promised to support AM5 until at least 2027, so this board has plenty of life in it. Storage-wise, you're getting 2 PCI Express 4.0 M.2 ports. Having that second M.2 slot on a Mini ITX board is a big deal, giving you plenty of fast storage options, and if that's not enough, you've got 4 SATA ports, 4 on a Mini ITX board. It's like MSI found a way to bend the laws of physics. The USB situation is pretty sweet too. You're looking at 9 USB 3.2 ports and 2 USB 2.0 ports. The pre-installed I/O panel has 6 USB ports total, including a Type-C. It's not the most loaded I/O we've seen, but it's more than enough for most users. And of course, you're getting the standard 2.5 GB LAN and Wi-Fi 6E, because let's be honest, anything less is just uncivilized. So why is this our top pick? It's all about balance. The MSI MPG B650i Edge Wi-Fi doesn't have the absolute highest specs in any one area, but it nails the features that matter most for real-world usage. It's got the power to handle high-end CPUs, plenty of fast storage options, solid connectivity, and it does it all without costing an arm and a leg. And there you have it, our top 5 AM5 motherboards this year. Remember, for more information and updated prices, check the links in the description box below. And hey, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, happy gaming!